going on, guys? JNC Nick back here again, and who do we have?
Rhys Yuhas.
And what did you do this time?
This time I won a Newtype challenge.
Let's go.
Up at Sword in the Stone in Wilkes-Barre, PA. Last time was top 4. This time clutched it out and got the card I wasn't expecting to actually get, so we clutched it out after a couple changes from my last list. So it felt good, felt great to finally get a W. We played green, white wing again. Surprise, surprise. I'll start with like all the smaller stuff. Played 3 of this. I want to bump it to 4. Helps in the aggro matchup to actually have something to play and try and trade with early on, and just in like the mirror to like put a lot of pressure on people. I definitely want to put this to 4. I just don't actually know what I'd cut because like the list is pretty tight. But cracking the EX base, cracking first life. I mean, in a couple of mirror matches, I took like 4 life before they even field something. Playing it as like a pseudo aggro deck early game is really, really helpful. Other early game card, before I get into all the blockers and stuff, Heavy Arms. Heavy Arms is great. I know some people play like the Baby Death Scythe. I think that card is ass. I think that's like a new bait almost, because this links with everyone. And having a scry effect is also just extremely helpful to see, like, if you like to have what coming up. If you like have a Chang in hand or a Shenlong in hand, you're able to just like see, oh, dig one more deep, oh cool, Shenlong next turn. And this deck more revolves around playing Shenlong than it does like Wing Zero and things like that. Still obviously play Wing Zero, but like Shenlong popping like blockers is just crazy, but we can get more into that later. 3 of this card wouldn't change it. 4 of the probably one of the top 5 best cards in the game. Lifrith. There's really nothing to be said about this card. It's just kind of absurd that it's a 3/2 with 4 health. Yeah, card is kind of crazy. For Rick, also kind of just in the same vein as Lifrith, just kind of crazy, just being 3 health, 3 attack. Lifrith is probably still just better a lot of times because 4 health is just so good, but I mean, you play this early game blocker, always really good. I cut Ailstrick to 2 from 3 from the list I played last, and I didn't miss the other 2 at all. I don't need to see this card. If I do see this card, it's just solid, but like I'm not always trying to get to this card specifically. I'd rather be dropping like 2 Lifless or 2 Ricks instead of this. But this card still comes up in certain instances and has a lot of like good applications, but I don't think I need to play more than 2 for it. MVP of the deck for Shenlong. This one's my shame. But this card is just insane. This is like why I wanted to play the deck and why I just keep playing the deck. You just don't care about like red-white decks that much. You don't care about even certain things in the mirror. You just take, so this card just gets so much free value. It takes like 3 cards just for like 2 card investment. If it sticks around for another turn, you're just getting so much value out of it. I don't think I'd ever cut this to less than 4. If I could play 5, I would. The card is just like always so good. If I ever see this like in my opening hand, I'm almost just so inclined to always keep the hand just based on this card alone. Obviously you can't do that in certain matchups, but this card is just fantastic. 4 wing, standard, 7/7 that can like attack pretty much anything, and breach 5 is pretty good in this game, so this is just standard. I am still on Death Scythe. I also think this card is still just really solid. Free trades, pretty much. You're taking one of their units for free, then they have to trade something into this their turn. That's pretty good value. First strike is just so solid. Yeah, it's a little worse into like aggro matchups. You don't really want to see it then, but we have just some early game stuff to like at least deal with the aggro until you're like dropping your big guys. But this card I just really like. I think you can get it not playing it. If I wasn't playing this and the duos, I'd probably be on like more Ails and like Kira, or even like Sword Strike and Kira. But I am just really a big fan of Death Scythe itself. But I think it is like a flex spot for people with the deck. You don't have to play this. Next, which was kind of probably like a hot take for me, I was only on 2 Wing Zero. I expected to just like run into more mirrors and things where I don't really want to see a lot of this card. Because it's not too good into like that matchup into the mirror. Like I'd rather just be playing 2 of like any of like the, like any of these. I'd rather just play like 2 of those on a turn instead of just 1 of this. Obviously, you still just kind of have to play it because the card is really good. I mean, I won my one aggro matchup because I got to 8, I had it, and wiped his board, and then just won from there. But I was on 3 prior, but I like 2. And I probably wouldn't change that. I think 2 is just, like, fine. Like, you don't need this card to win. Onto pilots, 3 Chang for Shenlong. I think 3 is perfect, don't need 4. 3 Duo for Death Scythe, and also these are both for heavy arms as well. You can put any of them on heavy arms. Duo is also just so good to slap on blockers because like the 2 health is just so strong. Chang having 2, I kind of sometimes wish he had 2 health as well, but the 2 attack matters a lot too. I mean, I won a game because my opponent tried to keep up a resource for unforeseen incident, and I got Duo as my last life hit on a Death Scythe, which can't be reduced by unforeseen, and then Chang made my Lifrith a 4-4 or 4-5 to beat the last hit through the unforeseen, which is kind of nice. It was a very clutch moment. And the last pilot for hero, I mean, he's also just pretty standard. You're playing an Operation Meteor deck, you kind of play hero. He makes everything like pretty big. Heavy arms is 6-6, wing 7-7. Hero's just solid. Onto the commands for overflowing. Standard, really not much to say here. I do see a lot of people just kind of using this card wrong. They'll immediately just like fire it off on their, like, if you're going second, like you choose to go second because it's Gundam, why would you ever choose to go first? If the people like start with their second with the EX resource in the regular, they'll like play this right away, and that's just not what you're supposed to do with this card. You just hold it for a while until you like have something better to discard, or until you need to like dig for like certain pilots or certain mechs. Because like if you're structuring your turns properly, you'll always have like the one available to use this. You don't like need to use it turn 1, turn 2, like, oh, the resource management. You just don't need to do that. You can just save it for the moments where like you have something much better to discard than something you're gonna regret discarding at the very beginning of the game. I've seen so many people like discard a mech or a pilot turn 1 and then be like, damn, I wish I didn't discard this like 5 turns later, and you just don't need to play it right away. But you definitely play it in the deck. It's just one of the best white cards. And then my one change from the last Newtype to this one was putting in 3 unforeseen. Helped out immensely. It also won me my game versus aggro, and even some mirror matches. It's just such a good card in like a value-based like game where trading like is so important. And if your opponent can't actually trade their link pair with your link pair because of this, you're just like up so much in this game. Like this card's just really good this early in the game's lifespan. I think 3 is fine. I didn't miss the 4th. I didn't feel like I wanted only 2. I'd probably keep playing 3 in this list. Not sure about once like G2 3 hits, but it was very solid this weekend, and I'm gonna keep it in going forward for sure. And then my last thing was also probably like a little hot take. It's only on the 3 bases instead of 4, which felt like a little crazy at first, but there was just so many other things in the deck that I had valued much more than these. I play kind of weird when I play the game, where like if I have a base in hand, I just won't play it for like the longest time because I'm honestly kind of down to take certain hits to see if I have a base in life to get pilots and stuff out of it. Obviously, if like I'm about to die to like a lot of like little like aggro weenie cards, I'll play a base, but I just don't feel like I needed the 4th. I don't even think I'd put it back to 4 because there's just so many times where I'd be breaking on multiple bases. I think 3, for me at least, 3 was like perfectly fine this weekend. Didn't miss the 4th. I would never put it to 2 because that's just like trolling, but I know it's a lot of like kind of Yu-Gi-Oh ratios in this deck, which probably is because I'm primarily a Yu-Gi-Oh player, but a lot of like 3 ofs, a couple 2 ofs. The only things I really needed to max out on were a bunch of the 4 ofs that are kind of just standard. But yeah, that does it for the deck profile.
Any shout outs?
Shout out to Pedro, Dallas, Ryan, the guys I went with. Dallas obviously being the JNC Winners Club with me. Shout out to Vexen, his bumbleclad ass over in Jamaica. Shout out to JNC, our store. Shout out to Sword in the Stone because their pricing was kind of insane. I'll definitely be going back there for the next Newtype challenge. Great store, great location. And shout out to Ethan, of course.
God, yes.
And yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right, so that's pretty much it. JNC Nick signing out. Peace.